Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're pulling back the curtain on something that affects pretty much everyone, but honestly, very few people actually understand. We are diving into the real, totally unfiltered numbers behind maintaining and upgrading a house. We're using hard data straight from the Residential Construction and Remodeling Cost Guide to break down the true, hidden price tag of homeownership. It's going to be a real eye-opener.
Here is our roadmap for today. Section 1, the price of protection. Section 2, costs of invisible systems. Section 3, the high price of luxury. And finally, Section 4, the ticking clock. But before we get into the hard data, I really want you to consider this question. What is the actual true cost of your dream home? I mean, we all fixate on the listing price and the mortgage rate, right? But as we're about to see, buying the house, well, that's really just the entry fee.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the price of protection.
Protecting your investment literally starts from the ground up, because let's face it, if your foundation fails, the rest of the house doesn't really matter. Now, fixing a simple foundation crack might sound pretty straightforward, and if you can get away with a simple injection method, the data shows it's a flat rate of about $500 per crack. But if it requires excavation, actually digging down from the outside to seal it, that single crack can cost you up to $1,100. And unfortunately, homes rarely settle with just one single crack. Your wallet might, though. Moving all the way up to the roof, we see a massive premium for luxury materials. Just keeping the rain out with a standard strip and reshingle job using asphalt shingles, that runs about $3.25 to $4.25 per square foot. But what if you want that historic, gorgeous look of slate tile? You suddenly jump to between $30 and $55. That is literally 10 times more expensive just to perform the exact same basic function of protecting your home from the sky. Crazy, right? And then there are the threats you can't even see until it's too late. Check out this jarring number, $2,100. That is the flat baseline cost for a chemical soil treatment strictly to prevent termites. Think about that. It's not adding any square footage. It's not some beautiful new kitchen island. It is purely defensive spending, just to ensure tiny insects don't literally eat your protective shell.
That brings us to Section 2, costs of invisible systems.
This perfectly captures the ultimate homeowner's dilemma. On one hand, you have a beautiful new bifold louver door. It costs about $850. You buy it, you install it, and you get to admire it every single day. But on the other hand, a laundry tub and waste ejector pump. The starting cost is the exact same, $850, but it can actually run all the way up to $2,500, depending on the complexity of the plumbing. Paying thousands of dollars for a pump hidden in your basement adds absolutely zero aesthetic value, but hey, try living without it. And honestly, the infrastructure costs don't stop there. The numbers are frankly staggering. Before you even think about installing a flashy smart thermostat, you have to look at the bones of the house. Replacing old knob and tube wiring, that's $10 to $20 per square foot. Upgrading to a new 200-amp electrical panel, that'll run you up to $2,600. Retrofitting a new air duct system, that's $6,300. And if you're on private systems, a 1,000-gallon septic tank can run up to $6,000, while replacing accessible waste drain lines is another $3,000 to $6,000. These are massive, totally necessary expenditures that remain completely invisible behind your walls. To really put this infrastructure burden into perspective, just consider this ceiling price, $12,500. That is the top-end estimate to convert a standard home from hot water heating to modern forced air. You are essentially taking the entire cost of a decent used car and dropping it just to make sure warm air blows through your vents. Let's lighten things up a bit, or maybe not, with Section 3, the high price of luxury. When we look at major renovations, the baseline costs are one thing, but materials? Well, that's where budgets absolutely explode. A kitchen renovation starts around $7,500 and a bathroom starts at $5,250. But the material premium is wild. If you choose laminate counters for that kitchen, it's about $45 per linear foot. Upgrade to marble and you immediately jump to up to $140 per linear foot. The same logic goes for the backyard. A basic cedar deck is $20 to $30 per square foot, but if you want a fully custom deck, the price triples to between $65 and $85. The luxury is entirely in the materials. And if you want the ultimate backyard luxury, you better prepare yourself for this massive figure, $30,000 plus. That is the starting price for a 16 by 40-foot concrete-lined swimming pool. And remember, that's just a starting baseline.
It doesn't even include the pump and filter system, which is another $3,000, or the heater, which is an additional $2,500 or more. Luxury has a very, very steep price tag. Now, let's move into our final segment, Section 4, the ticking clock. It's a tough pill to swallow, but everything in your home is on a countdown timer. Walking through this timeline reveals the highly cyclical nature of home expenses. Based on the data, your washing machine, it's likely going to need replacing in about 10 years. Your central air conditioning system, 15 years. Those galvanized water pipes hidden in the walls have a lifespan of about 25 years before they need swapping out. Meanwhile, a premium upgrade like a metal roof can last up to 60 years. The big takeaway here is that homeownership isn't a one-and-done purchase. It is a rotating schedule of replacements. Which brings us to the concept of life expectancy. And this isn't just some static time frame before a component dies. It actually fluctuates based on the materials used, your local climate, and how well you maintain things. Understanding this is absolutely crucial. It's the literal foundation of building a proactive rather than reactive budget. For example, if you know your central air is 12 years old, you really shouldn't be surprised when it fails. You should already have these $6,000 to $8,500 ready to replace it.
So this leaves us with a final, rather provocative question to wrap up our explainer today. Are you budgeting for the dream or for the reality of the ticking clock? You know, it is incredibly easy to get excited and save up for those marble countertops and that gorgeous custom deck. But true homeownership requires being financially prepared for the broken foundation, the failing septic tank, and the inevitable replacement of pretty much every system in the house. The numbers don't lie, and being prepared makes all the difference in the world. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive, and I really hope this data helped you plan smarter for your own piece of real estate.